All right, the last set of notes for volume is going to be spheres and hemispheres. Yes, it will go quick, but again, this one's going to be another one of those that might be kind of easy to pick up on. There are a few things that we are going to have to pay very close attention to with this. It will not be, I'm not going to say as easy as surface area of spheres and hemispheres, but we'll look at the formula, we'll take a look. Remember that volume is actually filling the space inside of a three-dimensional object. Okay, our formula is going to be for volume of a sphere is going to be 4/3, so we're going to have to do a fraction, and we'll show you exactly how to do this in the calculator for our school calculators. It's going to be 4/3 pi r cubed. That's the big one right there. That's one you have to pay super careful attention to, making sure that we see that that is cubed, not just squared. And I'll show you in the calculators how to do that as well. Let's get that highlighted and make sure that sticks out. So again, we're just looking for the radius. We take a look at our first sphere here. We see that our diameter is 22. That's not what we want. We want the radius of 11. So to plug into our formula, we would have 4/3 pi, the radius is 11, so 11 cubed. So let's see how to do this in the calculator. I'm going to turn this light off so it doesn't reflect so much. What we're going to do is we're going to push Control Divide. Okay, so Control Divide, I know it's kind of dark right here, but that's going to give us our fraction function. We're going to type 4 in the top, scroll down, type 3 in the bottom, scroll over to the right once so you see the big cursor. Now we'll put in our pi. We're going to open up parentheses. Now we want to do 11 cubed, so to the third power. How you're going to get to the third power, there's not just one specific button. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to press this little arrow up button. In English, you learn it's a caret. You can insert words and, words, parts of sentences. Okay, so we're going to press this little button right here, and we're going to see that it's going to go up to this exponent. So we get to put whatever exponent we want in there using that button, but we want the 3, so we're going to press 3. Okay, so 4/3 pi 11 cubed is exactly what we have right here. So then we're going to press enter, and we'll just go ahead and continue rounding to the nearest tenths. And we're going to wind up with 5,575.3 units squared. Oh, my giraffe got in the way. Sorry, cubed. Yep, correct myself there. We are in volume cubed, hence why our radius is cubed. Okay. So next one we take a look at, they gave us from the sphere stopping at the center. This is our radius of 6. So we'll plug this into our formula. 4/3 pi, radius of 6 cubed. Okay, pause it and make sure we get that written in. I'm going to show the calculator again. I'm going to kind of tilt it and not worry about turning the light off. I'm going to push Control Divide to get my fraction function. 4 in the top, 3 in the bottom. Make sure I scroll out of that fraction, so we'll see a big cursor. Pi symbol. Parentheses, I want 6. And then go back to this little caret button. Okay, the second button after the underneath the control, all the way on the left, press that button, and then put in the 3 exponent. We press enter, and we're going to get 904.8. This is centimeters, so we'll do centimeters cubed. Let's go back up to the first one, because I forgot that these ones did have units for us. So the first one should be feet cubed. So the giraffe didn't get in the way. All right, last sphere one. We're given the radius, because it only goes halfway through that sphere, of 17. Let's go ahead and plug this in. 4/3 pi, your radius is 17 cubed. Okay. And if you're at home and don't have this calculator, I can't promise you how to use. I mean, I could help out with Desmos, but that's about it. All the other calculators, like the ones that come with the iPhone, don't use that calculator for this, okay? Look up the Desmos scientific calculator to help out with this. So when we calculate this, we're going to end up with, we have big radius there, so we're going to have a big number, 20,579.5 yards cubed. Cubed because of volume. So let's talk about the hemisphere. Pause if you need to catch up. Hemispheres, we know, is going to be half a sphere. With the surface area, you couldn't just take half the formula. This one we are, okay, because we're filling in only half of that sphere. So the formula was 4/3. We need half of 4/3, so we're just going to take half of that 4. So your volume ends up being 2/3 pi r cubed. So the only thing that's changing is now we have a 2/3 instead of 4/3. So our first one here, they give us our radius because it goes halfway across that circle base for the hemisphere. So we have 2.8. And let's go ahead and plug it into our formula now. We're using a hemisphere, so we have 2/3 pi, or radius of 2.8, still cubing it. Okay, if we need to go back up to that formula, make sure we highlight that cubed. And again, I'll show you, even though the calculator is going to be exactly the same, we're just putting a 2 instead of a 4. I'll go ahead and show you again here. Okay, lighten that screen up. So I'm going to push my control divide, get my fraction function, but this I'm going to put 2 in the top and 3 in the bottom. Okay, then I'm going to scroll out of my fraction, so my pi is not in the denominator. Get out of that fraction, pi button, parentheses, and I'll put that 2.8. Go down to this little caret button. So it tells me, hey, I'm going to go put an exponent in, and then put that 3 exponent in, and then press enter. And we're going to wind up with 45.97. The 7 tells the 9 to go up to 10. So what ends up happening is it's like adding 1 to 9. You have to carry the 1. So then it's going to become rounded to the nearest tenth. Technically, would be a 46.0. Okay, we could just put 46. And our units were centimeters cubed. All right, the next two I'm going to go a little faster. I'm not going to show on the calculator either. If you have a calculator, you know how to use it with the fraction and the third power. I'd go ahead and try it on your own. Here we have the diameter is 20, which is not what we want. We want the radius of 10. So remember, we have hemisphere following the 2/3 pi, the radius of 10 cubed. Okay, if you're able to do it, pause it and calculate this in your Desmos. In the end, we're going to come up with 2,094.4 units were yards, so yards cubed. All right, last one. Again, pause, rewind if you need to look at that again. Here they gave us only halfway through the circle base. They gave us our radius. 2/3 pi r cubed. Plug in for r. 2/3 pi. R is 5, so we'll 5 cubed. Again, pause it. If you'd like to go ahead and do this in your calculator on your own, or if you're at school, use your calculator at home. Or sorry, use your calculator at home. Use the calculator. I already showed you how to do it. In the end, round to the nearest tenth, we should have 261.8 units or yards cubed. And that's how we do spheres and hemispheres with volume.